Hello and welcome back to the Vegan Remix. This is my YouTube channel where we make recipes and we make them vegan. So today I'm going to be trialing the Chelsea Sugar banana cake recipe, which I will link down in the description below if you want to follow it. The original recipe has eggs and dairy products in it, and we're just going to be substituting them for vegan alternatives to make it vegan. And I'm going to give you an honest review at the end as to how I think it tastes, what I think maybe could potentially make it better, all that sort of good stuff, and so you can see whether you want to try the recipe or not later on, and whether it will be a good one to use, to give to friends, and to enjoy. So we're going to get into the baking of it. This one does use a KitchenAid or a stand mixer. You can also use one of those handheld electric mixers to beat your butter and sugar. That's the only thing you need it for. But I will be using a KitchenAid or benchtop mixer for this one. First things first, we're going to make our vegan egg. If you want to learn a little bit more about vegan eggs and egg replacers, definitely check out my last video, which I will link in the information card for you. It is all about egg substitutes and how they work and the different kinds and what you need to know about before you substitute them. Today I'm going to be just using the Orgran Egg Replacer or a store-bought egg replacer. With these, you basically just follow the instructions on the back. So this specific one is to replace one whole egg. You use a teaspoon of the no egg powder and 2 tablespoons of water. And I need 2 of those, so 2 teaspoons to 4 tablespoons. That's my second one, and then I'll just add some water to this. Now to the stand mixer, you want to add in 125 grams of butter. I'm using a dairy-free vegan margarine instead. There's 2 different kinds in here, hence 2 different colors. And then you're going to want to add in half a cup of brown sugar. You don't want it to be tightly packed, you just kind of want it to be loosely packed or scooped. And then you want half a cup of white sugar too. Then you mix these until, or cream these until they're light and fluffy. Once your mixture is creamed and the butter and sugar is nice and pale in colour and nice light and fluffy, kind of looking something like this comparatively to that, which is just what's on my scraper beater thingy, then we're going to add in our egg replacer or our 2 eggs and beat those as well. Now when you're using store-bought egg replacer, always mix it with water first, don't just add the powder straight in, it doesn't work. Then we mix it again. At this point, it might look a little bit like it's starting to split. Don't worry about that too much just yet. As you add the flour and other ingredients, it'll come back together. Also, don't forget to preheat your oven. You want it at 180 degrees Celsius on either bake or fan bake, and it'll bake for about an hour. Take a loaf tin, if you're making a loaf, and line them. I'll quickly show you how to do that, or how I was taught to do it. So basically, you want to take your tin and a piece of baking paper, line it up so that you will still have a little bit of room over both the edges and the sides. And then you take a pair of scissors and you basically put the baking paper underneath your tin and cut from the corners into the tin corner, or from the side to the tin corner. And you also give this a quick grease, just to in case there's any leakage. And you stick it in like so. And then I probably left my edges a little bit long, and you can give it a trim if you'd like, just like that. Once you've got your sugar, eggs, butter and everything in there, or your egg replacer, you're going to start adding your dry ingredients. So you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour or cake flour if you want to use that. It's really not a huge difference, just in the protein, and also varies by country. So 2 cups of that. A teaspoon of baking powder. You could whisk that through the flour first before you add it if you would like, but you can also just add it straight in. We've also got a teaspoon of cinnamon, because banana and cinnamon go beautifully together. Oh, I might not have a whole teaspoon. So those are your dry ingredients. And then with the baking soda, you want to take your cup of milk. The recipe uses Meadow Fresh milk, which is just a New Zealand brand of milk. Instead, I'm using oat milk. I'm going to take a teaspoon of the baking soda and mix that through. I also think it would be nice if I add a splash of vanilla, so I'm going to add a tiny bit of vanilla essence to my mixture. Then you also have to add in probably the main ingredient, which is your bananas. Mine are bananas that had started going brown, so I chucked them in the freezer. So I've just had to thaw them. I tried to thaw them a little bit, just naturally on the bench, but I wanted to use them now, so they're still a tiny bit frozen. Chuck them in the microwave and they'll be good. Just make sure you mash them up. You can leave some chunks. People quite like chunky banana bread. I personally quite like chunky banana bread. Just means that there's little chunks of banana sometimes. Doesn't mess with the skewer though, so just be careful when you're checking your banana bread if you do want to leave some big chunks. If you do like yours really mashed up, also do that. But you want about 2 whole bananas worth. I probably have slightly more, but I like bananas, so it's okay. And then we're going to put those in. Put this down. And start on a very slow speed if you're using a mixer, or mix slowly. Gradually add this. Once your ingredients have all come together, give it a quick scrape down on the mixing blades and make sure there's nothing stuck on the bottom of the bowl. And then you put it in the loaf pan and it's ready to bake. Simple as that. It was just a little bit too much for the one pan, so now I have a big pan and a little pan. But we're going to chuck them in. This one's definitely not going to take an hour, so I'll check it in half an hour. But I'm going to set a timer for 55 minutes. So I checked mine as soon while they were still in the oven to decide whether or not to pull it out. But I'll show you what I do. Basically, take a toothpick, stick it in cake, try not to lose it like I almost did, and then if it'll focus, basically, there you go, it will, sometimes there'll be little bits of cake left on the stick. This one has come out clean, which means it is ready. It only took about 50 minutes actually, and this was the smaller one I've also made. I'm going to leave this one at my parents' and take the bigger one for me, because why not? Yeah, well, I'm going to wait for it to cool down for another 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to try it. So the smaller cake I made is probably actually cooled down enough for us to try, or for me to try and tell you what I think. So I'm going to try, the plan is to try a little bit with butter and a little bit without and see how we go. It's definitely very moist. The top is crunchy or crispy. It's got like a hard coating from the sugar. Looks like that. That's the inside. Probably, potentially could have done with a little longer. I'll check the middle. The stick did come out clean, so maybe it's just a very, oh yeah, it's cooked all the way through. It's just very, very moist cake. Probably need it a tiny bit longer. But here we go. Cheers. Ooh. That's good. If you're not a big fan of very, very like soft, sticky kind of cakes, it might not be for you. It's the kind of cake that like, when you eat it, it sticks to the roof of your mouth. Mine's still, the reason that it looks undercooked, I think, is because it's still a bit warm. So when I put the knife through it, it kind of all smushes together. But when the knife hasn't gone through it and you rip it apart, it's nice and airy. I say bloody good. I think potentially a little bit longer or a little bit less moisture in the recipe. So me adding a little bit of extra banana was probably not the best idea. Potentially add a little bit more flour to fix that, or add some more raising agent or something along those lines. Now for with butter. That is so good. So, so good. I would happily eat that. will say, if you're going to use a small pan like I did, potentially do 2 separate ones, or make some muffins or something separate out of the mix, because if you put too much in a pan, it won't rise at all because there's no room for it to rise, so it simply won't, and therefore it'll be a really dense undercooked cake, which is the last thing you want. But yeah, taste wise it is delicious. Let's see, there you go, that's the bottom of it. Man. And like, you can taste the banana, which is perfect. Nice hard top, a little bit of crunch, which will go soft if you put it in an airtight container and don't eat it today, which is fine. Not everybody goes for the crunch on top. I know my dad likes it though. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. So I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this recipe, it'll be linked down below for you to try for yourself. I do actually quite recommend it. There are a couple of adjustments I'd probably make, so maybe a longer cooking time and potentially a little bit less banana, but that was my fault. I put in 4 small bananas. The recipe called for 2 large bananas, so potentially I overdid the banana a little bit. I could cut back on the banana, or I could cut back on and just do 1 vegan egg and see how that turned out. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. So please remember to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon if you want to get notified when I upload videos, because there will be plenty more trials of different recipes online that I will trial for you. If you want an honest review on them, you can link those or comment them down below and I will find them and try them. If that's not what you're into, I will also just be posting recipes that I've found that I liked eventually. But yeah, most things will be vegan or have a vegan alternative. So thank you so much for watching, and peace out. I'll see you in the next video.